Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
There's always just that active and that defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on.
Thank you very much for that, Ian Wright. Obviously, the goal showed in my intro. I mean, Rashford's goal was a beauty, as was Saka's, but mine's better. Arteta shout me. As you lot can see, Arsenal 3, Man United 2. It's been a great weekend. I'm currently in front of me watching Gary Neville and Roy Keane tears. I'm trolling all my United supporting brethren because they've been talking a lot of smoke. Football's a humbler people. And as you know, we obviously got 3 points. Now, when the emotion and the dust sets people, I think we can look at this game. It must have been an entertaining game for the neutrals. Obviously, people, there was 5 goals. I'm not sure Arsenal or Man United fans would agree. Our heart rates were racing, people, really and truly. Now, again, before anything, people, hope you're well and safe. For my United supporters, if the most, in a nice way, I hope that your team losing is the worst thing in your life right now, because there's a lot of things in this world to be vexed about. And I hope everybody listening, as usual, people are doing well and safe, are having a great weekend. I hope next week is even better. I hope you and your loved ones remain in good health, people. As I said, Arsenal won 3-2 against Man United. When the dust settles, I think it's a weird game. Let's stop the nonsense and be serious now, people. In fact, we'll still keep that on. Now, when we settle and sober down, I think right now, obviously, if you look at Man United, they're going to be disheartened. It's going to feel like your house has been robbed, because, they had 3 points in their hands. Then it was a point. Then it was none. Obviously, we're the reverse of that with Arsenal. We went from getting no points when we conceded statistically to obviously equalizing and getting a point to snatching all 3. I think in terms of improvements that we need to make, one theme I have loved this season, because mistakes happen in life. Throughout this whole season, Arsenal players have made certain mistakes, and in previous years, like today, we would have focused on, if Partey doesn't do that, or if Ramsdale collects from the corner, maybe the game is different. With mistakes happen, it's about reaction, it's about individuals forgiving themselves. Collectively, we keep going, and I really loved that. So yeah, maybe cut out the mistakes, maybe be a bit more efficient and effective in front of goal, even though we have showed the will to win. Like, even in the second half, our defenders are pushing each other over to get the 3rd goal for Arsenal Football Club. But conceded 2 silly goals from a silly set piece as well, really. Ramsdale hold his hands up, but the build up to that set piece as well. Rashford, it's a beautiful goal from him. Partey's got savage, but Partey and Saka have messed it up. I'd say Partey's tried to play a first-time pass. It has not worked out. As I said, just in terms of conceding less, managing the game, being a bit less open in certain spaces. Even when we made it 2-1, the minutes in which we can see for both teams, really, Rashford's goal didn't put United in the lead for long. Obviously, Eddie and Nketiah's first didn't have us in the lead for long. So game management, defending a bit better, converting the shots on target to goals, being a bit more efficient based on the high standards we've set in this season is what we need to improve. Saying that, though, in that regards, we weren't at our best. We found three goals. So the good, I like the will to win. I liked the hunger to win the game for whatever reason, whether that's to achieve whatever goals we had in August or any adjusted goals that we've now got compared, in relation to where we are in the table. It's a big game, willingness to win, getting a bit of revenge after letting ourselves down at Old Trafford, obviously finding goals and just, looking a bit better. On reflection, we dominated the game. There were periods United dominated the game. They did look dangerous on the counter. A midway point through the first half, there was probably too much space available, but largely, United had troubles playing out from the back, which is probably not isolated to this. They're just hitting it into the channels, really. They are lacking Casemiro. We're lacking Gabriel Jesus. I've got no sympathy for my club or any club that cries about missing players. It happens, innit? Same way footballers get injured, chefs cut their fingers. It's as simple as that. So it's nice to win, nice to get revenge, nice to keep the winning run going, nice to react as well. Nice to win a game against Man United as well. As I'm sure a lot of you got friends and family like myself, and it's a big game and it's the worst thing ever if you've lost in it. Obviously, Ten Hag's got an informed side. I know from a potential 6 points this week, they've taken 1, which will be a disappointer. But they look a better team than they were in September, and it's only been 6 months under Ten Hag. They do look a bit better. Probably need a bit more players that are more competent playing out from the back, and just a bit more quality in some areas. But Man United can take some pride. There's a lot of things that they need to improve on, and there's a lot of things that they can take pride in today. The same goes for Arsenal, really. It's always how good you are at your worst. I don't think we were terrible or our worst, but we weren't exactly. In many ways, we wasn't exactly at our best, and we made it happen, really and truly. So I like the temperament, I like the reaction, I like the desire to win. Zinchenko, bad boy football, as simple as that, in it. Especially in the last 20 minutes of that game, he really had a good game. Eddie and Ketty are amazing. Once Odegaard, Partey, Xhaka got going, because they weren't always there from start to end, we couldn't be stopped. I think Benjamin White had a bit of a quiet game, but Tomiyasu came on and did very well. Ramsdale let himself down for one of the goals, but he still popped off a couple big saves for us. I think Gabriel won't get the respect he deserves, but Saliba as well. Gabriel put in an amazing shift today, and take nothing away from Eddie and Ketty. I'm happy that, because since Eddie started for Arsenal with the Jesus thing, he has played well. And sometimes goals can mask games, but I think his performances, he's showing he can be a competent deputy to Jesus. He's showing that he might be even able to take his shot. We were linked with João Felix, who can play up front in a bunch of roles, and obviously Mudryk. Arteta might be having Eddie rethink. And I think when you do all the other aspects of the game well, as Eddie did, and stuff, I like to see the strikers at Arsenal rewarded with goals. And I think Eddie did, and they all count at the end of the season. So it shows the progress I feel both teams, but focusing on my team, Arsenal, have made this season and the levels we need to go to. There was almost, for me, there was a calmness that we would get something out of the game. Like the second half, we had them pinned in their own half. The only, we just needed to score a lot more and make it a bit less dramatic, really and truly. I did think we started the game well. First 10 minutes, we earned 2 quick corners. We looked sharp. I think the game looked a bit emotional from both teams, and both teams needed to settle. I think in the early stages, we're moving the ball all right. There's a couple dodgy passes and things flying around. And I do think this is another game that showed why depth is important in football, people. It would have been lovely to bring on a centre mid today at some point like that. But I did think we didn't have our usual quality in the final third. We weren't effective or efficient. We was having half chances, and Martinelli had a couple, Eddie had a couple, nothing really of note. Shout out to Bukayo Saka as well, because that was a peach of a goal. Should have got 2 like that. And when he got going, he couldn't be stopped. And for me, it's not that Saka obviously knows he's a good footballer, but now he's starting. You can see it, like he's knowing I'm the guy now. I can make things happen. People are scared of me. And I wouldn't say Shaw had a disaster class, but he gave Shaw nightmares, which I'm sure he gives it Shaw nightmares in training for England as well. I mean, United did have spells in the first 10 minutes and in the first half, as I said, but they're struggling playing out from the back, and that kind of caused them issues when we did equalize. We've handed them their goal. Take nothing away from it, because it's a fantastic strike from Marcus Rashford. He's had a lot to do. Maybe Ramsdale could have done better as well, but he's the last line of defense. Saka's not done the best either. Partey, it's come from his silly pass, so we should have done a lot better. We reacted very quickly. We turned it on. There was a bunch of players, including Thomas Partey. Obviously, Granit Xhaka has shown some quality to find Fox in the box, Eddie and Nketiah. Your defense is in trouble, as the song is, people. Eddie's headed home, and it's 1-1 at this point. I did think for the neutrals, maybe not so much Arsenal United fans, it was a very open game. It was, it was one of them ones. It must have been entertaining, people. I think both midfielders were leaving a lot of space, and there was an effort from McTominay where it came as a back of leaving too much space in our team and actually not following runners, people, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, we reacted at halftime. I think we're playing all right. I just think we need to go up several gears. I think the only two I can't really ask anything more is Zinchenko and Eddie. I think when Odegaard's on it, when Saka's on it, when Xhaka's on it, when Partey's on it, I think they're playing good, but I think they can go to another level. And actually Gabriel and Saliba, but I think we could go up several gears at halftime. For those, big up to you, that was part of my watch along. You did hear me say I think we need to bring on Tomiyasu, just because Tomiyasu is a bit more conservative defensively, and you got to see that, really, people. I actually think Wan-Bissaka was good, but you saw the limitations. Maybe the third goal, but at least 2 of the 3 has been involved in issues, really. Second half, we went up the gears, and it felt a bit like the Fulham game, the Aston Villa game, when we're pressing for that equalizer. The fans that were making bare noise. As I said, I think we forced them deep. I think Varane probably on the ball more than he'd like. You have to give credit to Lisandro Martinez. What a warrior he is, people. But yeah, we're starting to dominate the game and take proceedings. And again, United can't really get out or forge anything. They only look dangerous on the counter, really and truly. We've got them penned in their own half and things like that. From early, they're tight, and that were time wasting, really. Or I mean, at times they're getting caught out a bit from playing out from the back. So I'm just kind of thinking, can we calm down a bit at halftime, have a bit more quality of the ball, and just look after it a bit more, people, and just be more efficient, really, and just be wary of the defensive transition before we carry on with the second half, people. You know, in the first half, we had 11 shots. They had 2 shots. Both teams had 2 shots on target, so we could be more efficient and effective in the final third. United have been slightly more clinical. Possession, there's not too much, even though we're going forward a lot more, in my opinion, and definitely putting a lot more passes together. We had 51% of the ball to their 49. We had 6 corners to their 1. So while I don't think we can have any complaints that we're drawing and we're not really playing to the level to justify winning, on the prestige of things, we're dominating the game. Let's convert that towards 3 points. Second half, we came out on smoke, really and truly, and then obviously SAKA has scored an amazing goal from what, if I can remember, an absolute peach of a goal. And that's kind of rewarded us for starting in the second half a lot better. But again, game management. And we have conceded some silly goals this season. And as we become a better defensive side, we need to kind of weed these out. We've not, you know, the build up to the corner is bad enough. Obviously, Ramsdale will hold his hands up. He's come out. Anytime you don't come out and collect, you're in problems. Lisandro Martinez has reacted first. Gabriel's tried the thing. It ain't banged. This 2-2. But again, many teams would have been forgiven for that. I'm not going to lie. While we're pressing, I did kind of think it's looking like a draw would be it. But we kept going. You know, it's fitting that VAR or whoever's been on our side, really, after Man United's Rashford were interfering with play against City. And obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson was in the building. For those of you like me who are 27 or older, definitely much older, you're accustomed to Sir Alex Ferguson's presence in the stadium being a bit dodgy. So it's lovely to know his tats didn't really bang. We pressured them the whole of the second half. It's just we weren't really that clinical in front of goal. But I did like it from all the boys. As I said earlier, defenders are pushing over their friends to go and get that goal, really. And we had a very strong end to the game. De Gea's even made a lovely save from Nketiah, but obviously, thankfully, Trossard, Zinchenko, a few other players have been involved. Eddie Nketiah is in the right place at the right time. It's a double-edged sword being a striker, because strikers can score goals and not be effective for their team, or they can be a great system striker like Jesus and Eddie are for us, but people will still look at your goals. So it's lovely for Eddie Nketiah to get 2 goals in a big game like this and obviously keep up his form. And it's lovely for us to win, especially when we haven't been bad, but we haven't been that amazing, really. There's many positives and areas of improvement and things. Fundamentally, we've won, innit? So we win the game. We enjoy it tonight. We take the good from this game and make it great. We look at the evident areas of improvement. Come Monday morning, we focus obviously on Manchester City, I believe, on Friday. And then after that, we've got Everton. The United game's great for people like you, our fans, who are good, you know, always got the banner and that, but the players just need to keep it going. And I really like the intensity, the resilience. There's that will to win. And I don't think we were at our worst this game. But there is a degree of how good are you at your worst that decides things. And I do love that grit, that mentality, that hunger to want to win, people, whether they're feeding off the fans, whether it's something internally, whether it's Arteta, whether it's a mixture of these things. It's amazing, people. And I do think Man United actually look better than they did in September when they beat us. So for United, there are a lot that if they commit to Ten Hag, I think there's a lot of good things there. Happy for my Highlanders with Eddie to get a brace and Saka to score. You know, happy to win the game. Happy to see a good, resolute performance. Happy to see us react to going a goal down, because we haven't been in that. We have been in that scenario, but we haven't been in that scenario too many times. And there's been nervy moments, like we beat Brighton. That was kind of, it's looking a bit mad. Leeds away, Wolves had elements of that. Fulham and Aston Villa had elements of that at the Emirates. And obviously, Man United's a harder game than Fulham and Aston Villa, respectfully. But was isolate away from the evident areas of it being a different game. There was elements in that where in previous years we crumbled, we got over the line. Like a draw would have been a good point, but we would have been thinking about the start. And as I said during my watch along, it's a game where if you win, lose, or draw this, you can complain, but it could have went either way, really and truly. And yeah, it's nice to pluck 3 points from the jaws of defeat based on Rashford scoring the first goal. But yeah, people, it's nice to win. We just focus on the games we have to hand, and hopefully this dream of a season doesn't end anytime soon, people. So yeah, please make sure you've hit the like button, turn on your notifications, and let me know your own thoughts and points of view, your own thoughts in relation to the game and everything else, people. Stay blessed, stay safe, stay in good health. I hope next week is fantastic for you guys.
There's always just that active and defenders have been given, like